Hey guys, in the last video I walked you around my 12 volt setup, but I did mention I don't have any solar yet. I've come down to VSS in Perth. We're going to do nearly 500 watts of solar on the car today, but we're going to do something that probably most of you have never seen before. Let's go inside and check it out. Shane, I just wanted to thank you for fitting me in today.
My pleasure, Paul. It's good to have you in here. It's been a long time coming, lots of discussions.
A couple of years. We caught up a couple of years ago at the Four Wheel Drive show.
Yeah.
Let's get straight into it. Why should people choose your solar over the competitors?
Well, obviously, Paul, like everyone's experiencing now, it's just a different way to create power. Okay, so it's utilising that wasted space that's on your bonnet of your car, sitting out there doing nothing. We can now put a panel in that space to create power, so you can charge your toys, redo your GoPros, your phones, all that sort of stuff, without the fear of a battery running flat.
And this is something I've never seen before.
And most people haven't, and people sort of go, oh, well, puzzles people why you want to do it and how and all that. But what it is the technology wasn't there years ago. So it was all using plastics and PVCs and things like that, which just didn't last. So we had to go right back to the drawing board, start from scratch and rebuild that whole thing. So we start with a fiberglass base. That gives you a longevity, it gives you heat dispersion and things like that. And then we have a 7-layer manufacturing of them, a lot more than other panels, finishing with an ETFE coating. So if you happen to go through, say, a thunderstorm and there's hail pouring down, it just bounces off the panels rather than smashing or breaking stuff as you'd have with old traditional style panels.
And notice it's non-reflective as well.
Yeah, the great thing is with you get your new cars, it's nice and shiny, enjoying driving along. Once your panel goes on, it will completely stop any glare. And it was part of getting it approved by the Road Traffic Authority. We had to have products that, couldn't cut you, couldn't interfere with your crumple zones. It was anti-glare, it was all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we've been through all the ringer. It's now approved Australia-wide. You can put on any vehicle and drive safely. Straight
up, we'll answer the question I know everyone is going to be concerned about. Is solar on the bonnet safe? What about the heat? Is that going to affect the solar panel at all?
It is one of the single biggest questions. Is like, oh, the heat from the motor, it's going to do this, it's going to do. Absolutely, and rightly so. But you've got to understand that whilst you're driving, the actual alternator is doing 99% of the work.
Yes, that's right.
It's doing everything, really. And when you are driving, you've got airflow. So you can drive from Perth to Sydney to Queensland. When you arrive and put your hand on the bonnet, it will not be hot. It'll be warm, but it won't be hot. Then when you're parked up, we actually have, I'll show you here actually, we have a way of making sure everything's safe and sound and looked after. So once you're parked, a solar panel's designed for the sun. It's designed to absorb heat, it's designed to turn it into power, and these are no different. So once you get over your 45, 50 degrees, like every single solar panel in Australia, yes, you will have a drop-off in performance. So it doesn't matter if it's on your building, on your car, or on your caravan. Okay, these will have exactly the same performance. However, what we do is when we pop it on the bonnet, we want to look after your vehicle. It's, you've got a lovely vehicle here.
That's one thing I was concerned about.
Yeah. And it's an expensive investment. So you want to make sure the paint job's looked after, all that sort of thing. We actually have a custom-made vinyl decal. So this peels off, we wet the bonnet down, we put the vinyl in place, squeegee that off, and that's what the panel sticks to. So if you ever needed to remove it for whatever reason down the track, you have to actually physically steam this and you'll peel the panel off. You'll never get this panel off once it's in place because it's held in place with the latest state-of-the-art 3M VHB, the very high bond tape. Once it's on, it's not coming off.
So what's the process you go through to install this?
Oh, this is really simple. So we just prepare the bonnet. We'll just clean the bonnet. If you want, you can do a bit of clay bar. Make sure there's no contaminants on there. Spray a bit of slippery water down. Put the decal in place. It comes with a little squeegee the water off from behind, stick it in the sun for half an hour, and then it's ready to put your panel on.
I believe your biggest seller is a DIY kit.
Yeah, so it's really simple. What comes in the kit is you'll have your decal ready to go, you have your instructions. I had one here earlier, so it'll show you how to go about it. And with the DIY kit also, you can add on VHB tape if you wish to. You can add on a solar controller if you don't already have a DC to DC charger that we can plug straight into. So you just tick on the website what you need. So once you've got all that, then basically it's plug and play. It's really easy.
And you post Australia-wide?
Yeah, we put all over Australia, most panels, and we'll get to you for really affordable, it's 45, 50 bucks. Some of our really big panels run out to about 80 bucks. So yeah, Australia-wide, and it's very, very affordable.
And I actually mentioned to you earlier, I was pretty impressed with the packaging as well.
Oh,
So it's lined in this, plus boxed.
Yeah, touch wood. We've never had a damaged panel so far.
I'm getting my whole 490 watts straight into my second batteries to keep them topped up. But what other options have you got?
The options are endless, really. So we have a lot of people that would be going prospecting, for instance. They park their car for a week, they're out prospecting and what have you. They might trickle feed it just to their starter battery.
Okay.
You got others, like fishermen. You might be beach fishing, got the radio going, you got your fridge in the back. You don't want to get to the end of the day. It's you've got that trickle feed going in, just replenishing as you go.
So going to your start battery, that's when you'd recommend the solar controller?
If you don't have a dual battery system with a DC to DC, you can get for $110. We can put a waterproof solar controller under the bonnet.
Yep.
And you can run that straight to your starter battery. If you do have a second battery, you can run it to that. You have an option to put it wherever you prefer the power to go, because you know your vehicle better than we do.
And solar controllers are really easy. Anyone can install them too.
Oh, it's basically plug and play.
Yeah.
You plug it into that, you clip it on the battery, and it's done. We try and make it as simple as possible. So, because it's a bit daunting at first, you think, my goodness. But yeah, it's a really, really easy process.
I'm getting mine on the rooftop tent and the bonnet, but where else have you mounted it in the past?
We've mounted on virtually everything. So bows of boats to the roofs of boats. We do the roofs of vehicles themselves. We do the roofs of caravans. We do trailers, mining industry on the tops of toolboxes, the whole shoot match. So the great thing is we know from panels that are out there that they can handle all conditions. So we've got them down in Tassie, where it's freezing cold, and we've got them up in the northern Queensland, out in the Pilbara, where it's stinking hot, and they're still going really well. So if you're getting rid of your old heavy glass panels, they're a great alternative. So you can rip all those off, get rid of all that extra weight, and replace it with a nice lightweight one. If you're redoing your caravan, fill in all the holes, no more drilling, no more tapping, no more having to have a roof rack.
Yep.
All the expense, roof rack can $1,000, $2,000, as you know, just to carry your solar panel. You've got no room left to put anything else. So in your set of circumstances, you've got your rooftop tent.
Yeah.
So we've got it up on the top of your rooftop tent. Then we've got one on your bonnet. And if you need it down the track, we can even put them on the roof of your vehicle if you needed to. So, we've got them for any application you can think of. And we've just been to the Darren Field Days, actually.
Okay.
And now we've got tractors with them on. And we've got and we had one guy, quite interesting his story, and he's got a ride-on mower. And he doesn't use it very often. Every time he goes to use it, had a flat battery. Yep. So he stuck a small one on the roof of his ride-on mower. And he goes, every time I go out, turn the key, it's all gone. Any application.
Previously on my rooftop tent, I just had a little glass 165 watt panel.
Yep.
That took up half the roof rack, and then I could only fit my max tracks. But I wanted a lot more solar than that, and I just could not fit that. The roof racks added an extra probably 100 mil, and then the solar panel on top of that. Rooftop tent was already high enough with all that stuff on top, and now I've just reduced that height by so much by just getting rid of the roof rack.
Well, two things. It's a really good point, because you've got that. Yes, you've reduced all that height. So a lot of people can't get in. They can't just quite get in the shed or in the garage. Now they can, but also you've taken all that weight off the roof.
Yeah.
So you've taken 20 kilos off, 40 kilos off, and replaced it with 5 or 6 or 8 kilos. And that's a really big thing. So get that point of gravity down.
Yeah.
So safer full driving, safer off-road, looking after you, your family. Get the weight down, get it nice and low, and get it off.
Less wind resistance as well. I noticed you are very pedantic in the store fitting them, but what if someone was doing a DIY at their own house, and maybe like 6 months down the track they had one of the panels slightly lift? What sort of warranty do they have?
If you use the products that we suggest, so we only use a 3M very high bond tape. You can use a Sikaflex if you want to, but it's got to be a 227 Sikaflex. So we will guide you in the products that you need to use.
Yep.
Once you're using the right products, all the panels and everything comes with a full 2-year manufacturer's warranty. It is impossible, and we've tried and we've had everybody else try it. There is no way known to mankind this panel can lift. You can put it on the front of a jet plane, mate. It ain't coming off. Through stringent testing and trial and error, it's come up now. It's a foolproof system, and that's why we're quite happy, especially up through northern Queensland. Those guys are right into their four-wheel driving. They're right into getting way off grid. Huge, lots and lots going up there. And of course, our own Western Australia, it's the most beautiful place in the world to explore. It's huge. It's going great.
So what warranty do you offer?
Full 2 years on these guys. Covers everything. If anything goes wrong, we're there for you.
Oh, cool. And I noticed too that you test each panel when you unbox it.
Our facility in where we get them made, every panel gets tested as it comes off the manufacturing process.
Yep.
Before it leaves the store, it has a second testing. So as you would have seen this morning,
when you were reboxing.
Empty test and rebox. So every single panel, we know when it leaves this shop that it's fully functional, it's working every time.
No, that's good. So what's the best way for people to contact you?
The good thing is we're a bit old-fashioned. So you can go to vehiclesolarsolutions.com.au. You can contact us via email. We've got our Instagram, our Facebook, all that sort of thing. And also on our webpage, we have a mobile number.
Okay.
So there's people there to talk to. We have an office girl, etc., etc. So contacting us is any way that you feel comfortable with. We have some clients that just don't want to order online.
Yeah.
So they will ring up and say, I like what you do. Can I buy it? Can I give you my details? Yes, you can. And of course, most four-wheel drive camping shows and all that. We've got the one coming up in November, 8th of November. We'll be there in full force. We've got the full big display down there. You'll have your car there.
Yeah, so everyone can check that out.
We'll be able to come and see the Camping Down Under vehicle and actually see it in action, and you'll be able to show how much solar's coming through out of your stuff.
That's what I'm looking forward to, bringing it out in the sun now and just testing how much power it's actually putting it into it.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll have our display vehicles. We've got a new F-150 being done at the moment. That's going to look really super cool. Very excited about that. We've got our Ford Ranger, the next gen. Looking forward to catching up there.
For people watching now, what are some of the average solar you can fit on a bonnet of the most average cars?
Okay. So most vehicles, so for instance, if you had 100 Series Land Cruiser, very, very popular car, that's got 100 watts on it, so that's about 5.5 amps that it's going to feed in. On yours, you've got a 90 watt panel on your Hilux on the bonnet and another 200 upstairs. That's
400.
200, 400 upstairs. Yeah, nearly 500 watts on yours. But the 90 watt is going to punch in about 5 amps, plus you've got another 20 on the roof. So you'll be able to run fridges, freezers and coffee machines and everything you want to do.
Awesome.
One of the super popular vehicles is the Suzuki Jimny.
That surprised me.
That's an amazing little car because it's got such a great shaped bonnet. We've got 80 watts going on the bonnet of a little Suzuki
Nearly
Jimny.
as much as the Hilux.
Nearly as much as your big Hilux. And it just looks super cool, super lightweight. So it really, like that, the whole thing's going really well for, and we love our Jimny guys. They're very passionate. And one of the other ones is the FJ Cruiser. Really, really popular model, 105 watts on that guy.
Oh, beat me.
Yeah, just a little. And one of the biggest ones that we've done so far, and it's unfair because the Ram, it's got such a massive bonnet, as you know. We got up to 160 watts just on the bonnet, in 3 panels. So, there's lots to choose from, and everything is custom made and designed. You got a really beautiful car, you spent lots and lots of money, it needs to look cool.
That's one thing I was really concerned about. Yeah. I've got a white Hilux with a big black thing on the bonnet. I was like, that's just going to look ugly. But when I seen it and all my black bar work and all the black gear I've got on there, it actually suits the car.
It looks cool. Yeah, and I reckon once you get to the four-wheel drive show, it's a head turner. That will be an absolute head turner, and it just blends. But the question you'll get is like, is that a solar? Oh, I just thought it was a decal, mate. Because they just sort of cruise. It looks really good. Yeah. So.
Especially with the rooftop tent up too, and they can see the whole car just full of solar.
Yeah. So cramming that much in such a small area, it's amazing. It's very, very exciting. We're lucky to be in this market at the moment and helping people out. Yeah, getting off grid, getting out camping, having a good time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now that we've got it in the sun, it looks so bloody good.
I've got to put my sunnies on, Paul. It looks pretty spectacular. The black and white looks good.
And look at the rooftop tent. The whole thing is just covered in solar.
Yeah. Now, the good thing is now, you've got to remember, you've just put what would traditionally be over 50 kilos of weight to get 490 watts
of solar, yep.
You've just done it for just under a smidge over 10 kilos.
That's
smidge
awesome.
under 10 for nearly 500 watts, mate.
That's awesome. So happy with it.
Yeah. What do you reckon it's punching in?
We'll go have a look.
All right.
22 amps at the moment. A minute ago, we seen we were getting 24 amps. And this is what, 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm not even facing, the sun's over there. I'm not even facing the sun at the moment. And it's not a really hot day either.
You've just explained it perfectly, because it is. It's not prime time, yet you're still punching in nearly 24 amps off of that. Like, it's...
I was going to be happy with 25, and I've already got it. So.
I love it, yeah. So, yeah, very happy for it. And it just looks unreal.
Oh, yeah. It definitely suits the car now.
Yeah. And I mentioned, you know, because you've got less weight up here,
Yep.
less pressure on your struts, everything stays up evenly, nicely. So, yeah, that's what it's designed for.
Now, Shane, I want to thank you so much for today. This has just completely changed the whole Hilux.
My pleasure.
I'm glad after all these years we've finally got it done.
Yeah, 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But here we are, looking good. And the rest is just unreal.
Yeah.
I like this thing. Can we get back into that?
The fridge.
It is 2 o'clock, knock off door.
If you guys have got any more questions at all, leave them down below. We're happy to answer. If you guys have found the video helpful, leave a like as well. If you haven't already, consider subscribing. But thanks for watching the video, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.
Thanks very much.